mistakenly deported to El Salvador. He said he could, but he will not.
You could get him back. There's a phone on this desk.
I could.
You could pick it up, and with all the power of the presidency, you could call up the president of El Salvador and say, send him back right now.
And if he were the gentleman that you say he is, I would do that.
But the court has ordered you.
All right, so those comments appear to contradict his earlier stance that the U.S. does not have the ability to bring him back, that he does not have the ability to bring him back. And remember, the Supreme Court ordered the Trump administration to facilitate his return. With us now, CNN legal analyst, criminal defense attorney Joey Jackson. Counselor, great to see you in court. Justice Department lawyers have argued that we can't get Kilmer Abrego Garcia back, that only the El Salvadoran president can release him. So their legal position is they can't. President Trump's position at Terry Moran last night was, I could.
Yeah, John, good morning to you. We're in very troubling and difficult times, and I don't want to overstate it at all, but I do want to be objective, and I want to be fair, and I want to be honest. People talk about a constitutional crisis. The reality is that we are in a constitutional crisis as we speak right now. That reality is plain and apparent. We have a Supreme Court of the United States who said to facilitate, right, to facilitate the process. I don't know how much we can debate with you right now as to what your meaning of facilitate is and what mine is, but it's very clear with respect to what you need to do. Picking up the phone would be that. And so when you have a situation where the President of the United States is ignoring a co-equal branch of government, that's troubling, problematic, and very concerning. And so, yes, he's indicating that he's flouting it. Another point, John, remember what the administration did to an attorney of the Department of Justice who was in court and was honest. The judge asking him questions as judges do, and the judge giving the indication of, hey, you know what happened here? Oh, it was a mistake. I can't get a clear answer, said the U.S. Department of Justice attorney. From my client, with respect, the government, with regard to what happened here, that person was fired. And so we're in bizarre times in the twilight zone. This is not how it's supposed to work. It's working that way, and that's troubling.
Justice Department lawyers appear before a federal judge today, and they need to inform that judge what they've been doing to try to get Kilmer Abrego Garcia home. How does the president's statement that he could pick up the phone, he could do something, how does that change the legal situation? How will the judge read that?
I think the judge reads it as we all read it, right? And that is that the administration is doing what it wants. This is not how democracy works. You can't come to court and make an argument that contradicts reality. And if you have the president, who, by the way, is the head of the Justice Department, I know it's actually the attorney general, but make no mistake about it, it is the president. When you have arguments that are legally contradictory to what's being said in public, where are we? I mean, just for some context, people argue, oh, constitutional crisis, we may be getting there. We're in one. This president has issued 143 executive orders. Biden, for context, issued 40. Obama issued 19. George Bush 1 and 2, 12 and 11, respectively. You have a Congress that's supposed to pass laws. That's not happening. There's been 5 passed since his first 100 days. And so we could go on and on with regard to what this does, but you have co-equal branches of government. Each has a role. And when a Supreme Court of the United States tells you to do something, you do it. There's no question to that. There's no flouting what facilitate means to that. You just comply. There's not compliance here. That, to me, is not democracy. That's totalitarianism. And we're in an abyss. We're in a problem. And I'm just wondering where we go from here.
Well, we will wait to hear what the White House from the press room perhaps says to spin what the president said, but also what the Justice Department says now in a courtroom to explain what he said by I could, what he meant by I could. Joey Jackson, counselor, always great to see you. Thank you.